beautiful.
I think its real beauty lies in its simplicity. Don't you agree?
Yes, yes, I do. How much is it?
$450 plus tax.
Oh, I'm afraid that's more than I can manage right now.
Perhaps something a little less expensive. Like this.
Code 3.
My name is Barrett, Assistant Sheriff, Los Angeles County. The case you're about to see concerns a rather unusual crime, and one which poses a sensitive question as to rehabilitation. Sergeants Goodrich and Delacourt were assigned to investigate the theft at the jewelry store. After a brief discussion with the store manager, they checked the details with the sales lady, Edna Clary.
Mr. Carlson said you wished to speak to me.
That's right. He's reported a missing necklace. Said you were the first to discover the loss.
I was.
Miss Clary, would you verify this description for us, please? One necklace with 5 large baguette center stones.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, about the young lady, the suspect. Did you notice anything unusual about her?
No, nothing. Wait, I take that back. There was something. I thought it rather odd at the time, too. Now, here was a woman shopping for expensive jewels, and yet she wasn't wearing a single item of jewelry.
Could have been window shopping. People do it all the time.
Sergeant, I know women, and they don't bother with merchandise that doesn't interest them.
Miss Clary, I guess you're suggesting that even though she doesn't wear this type of merchandise, she might be interested in it for some other reason.
A very obvious reason, Sergeant. She wanted to steal it.
Well, could it have been taken by someone else?
No, not possible.
Could it have been misplaced? Wrong tray, wrong counter?
Sergeant, I've been with this firm for 8 years. And from the first day of my employment to this, I've been considered an expert sales lady. Now, that reputation was not built on the practice of putting jewelry in wrong trays.
We apologize, Miss Clary.
Miss Clary, what did the girl look like?
She was rather plain, very drab. Certainly not the kind of person that anyone would turn around to look at twice. But the thing that stands out most in my mind about her were her eyes. There was something about them. They were so mournful, yet so exciting.
Hi, honey.
Oh, Ellen.
You need any help?
No, thanks. Everything's ready.
What's with the light, Sheila? Things can't be that tough.
Just thought it might be more romantic by candlelight.
That's what I ought to do with Jim. The less he'd see of the food, the less I'd get of the beefs.
Can you stay?
Well, just for a second. He'll soon be snarling for his supper. Hey, let me see what you look like.
Okay.
Oh, you look lovely, Sheila. You could use a little glitter, though. You want to borrow some earrings or some beads?
Thanks. I never wear jewelry.
It's lovely. Table, candlelight, and the way you look tonight, honey, he's as good as hooked. What's the matter? Did I say something wrong?
Ellen, I'm not going to marry Ed.
You had an argument?
I'd really rather not discuss it.
Oh, these lovers' quarrels happen to everybody.
There's been no quarrel.
Found somebody else?
No, there's no one.
Am I warm? Give me a hint.
Ellen, I don't want to go into it.
Sheila, I'm not some tongue-wagging curiosity seeker. I'm your friend Ellen, remember?
Then leave me alone. It's none of your business anyway.
All right. All right, so it's none of my business, but... I'm sorry, Sheila. Maybe I should learn to keep my big nose out of these things. Only this time it wasn't my nose. It was my heart. I know how much a home and marriage mean to you. And I wanted you to have them with a right guy like Ed. I know what it can be like with the wrong guy.
Ellen, I'm sorry I acted that way.
Forget it, honey. Well, I better get back before Jim starts barking. He's in a foul mood.
And I better check my roast.
I'll light the candles for you.
Find the matches?
No, I was just admiring this cigarette box.
Ed gave it to me. Here they are.
Thanks.
Dear, time to eat.
I was just leaving, Jim. I thought Sheila might need some help.
Help? What kind of help? More advice to the lovelorn?
Oh, Jim, please.
Come on, I'm hungry.
You'd better go, Ellen.
I'm sick and tired of all these meetings between you and my wife. She has her own place and a husband to look out for. I almost never see her anymore, so will you please leave her alone?
I'm sorry.
Now, don't have me have to tell you again.
If that's all, I wish you'd leave.
Oh, now, don't give me airs. I know you and your kind. There isn't a guy in the world good enough for you. And one day you wake up too old. The parade has passed you by.
Get out of here.
Looks like you finally baited a sucker. Well, you better hook him fast, because your fishing days are almost over.
Get out. Get out. Get out of here!
No, none of these even resemble her. What does that mean?
Well, it means she probably has no record.
Then this is her first offense.
Well, not yet, Miss Clary. The offense must be established by proof.
But I told you, this girl stole the necklace. How much more proof do you need?
Well, I'm afraid you'll have to leave that up to our judgment, Miss Clary. Thank you for coming.
Sergeant, I suggest that you pick up that girl right away and save the taxpayers' money.
Well, we're just as anxious as you are, Miss Clary, to bring offenders to justice as quickly as possible. Thank you for coming. Now, what'd you find out about her?
Nothing so far.
Keep checking.
Beautiful night.
It sure is. Sheila, I never really knew what happiness was until you came along.
Ed, you mustn't think that your happiness depends on me. You mustn't.
But it does. I know now how completely it depends on you.
Don't say that, Ed. Please don't say that.
I love you, Sheila. I want you to marry me. Maybe that's not good enough for a wonderful girl like you, but it's the best I have to offer. Will you marry me, Sheila? Is that your answer?
Ed, I just can't bring myself to find the answer.
Sheila, I've waited for such a long time. You know, love doesn't always come in on white horses and fiery steel. Sometimes it's calm and gentle, peaceful and understanding. But it's still just as real and wonderful as any other kind of love. Don't pass it up, Sheila, just because you don't recognize it. Guess I was never very good at making speeches.
The most beautiful speech I ever heard.
Please think it over. Good night.
Ellen, you shouldn't. Is anything wrong?
No, I just heard Ed leave, and I had to know what happened.
Jim find you up here?
He won't. He's asleep on the sofa, dead to the world. Come on, let's get away from this door. Voices carry a mile in this trap. Well?
We had a very pleasant
Never
meeting.
mind that. Did he propose? Did he?
Yes.
Did you accept?
I told you, Ellen, I'm not ready to marry Ed or anybody else.
Why, Sheila? Tell me why.
I can't.
Then I'll tell you. Yes, I know. You've been a fool, Sheila. You need help, badly. As your husband, Ed, could have given it to you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. What did I tell you about coming in here?
Well, you were sleeping, dear, and I
Yeah,
just...
you just wait till I fell asleep so you could sneak out. A fine pair, you two. Birds of a feather. One a sneak and the other
Jim, please.
The other of what?
Jim, please, I beg of you. Please, take me home. I promise this won't happen again.
You haven't answered me, Jim. The other of what?
a thief. A common, ordinary thief.
Jim, you promised you wouldn't.
Well, I don't care. This thing has gone far enough.
No! No!
Well, some friends you have, huh? Here's a little trinket of yours.
Thousand blind alleys.
You can add this to your collection. The sales lady, Edna Clary.
You still clean?
Yeah, not a blemish. Any response to the Bortons?
Nope. There hasn't been a necklace hawked in this town for over 4 days.
Dell, I have an idea that necklace will never show up.
Oh, it'll show all right. Every thief gets hungry for money sooner or later.
Yeah, but we may not be dealing with a thief at all.
What?
Well, not in the usual sense of the word. Yeah. Take a look at this list of merchandise stolen from shops in the area over a period of time. Now, half those items are junk, not worth the effort it takes to lift them. The rest is real value.
No consistency.
And not one of these articles has ever been recovered. You know, this stuff could have been taken by one girl.
Kleptomania.
Mm-hmm. Kleptomania.
Honey, could we talk to you for a minute?
What about? Ed, what is it?
Sheila, we both love you very much.
Ed, this is none of your business.
Because we love you, we think that gives us the right to make it our business. To do whatever we can to help.
If I need help, I'll ask for it.
Honey, please. Listen to reason. You can't go on this way. You're young. You've got your whole life ahead of you. This thing will hound you every foot of the way unless you do something about it.
Ellen, I know you think you're acting in my best interests. But this is my problem, and I've got to handle it my way.
Sheila, I know now that this has stood in the way of our marriage. The one thing I've wanted so much. And still do. That makes it my problem, too.
What do you want me to do?
I spoke to a friend of mine. He's a pretty good psychologist.
You discussed me with a psychologist?
Kleptomania is nothing to be ashamed of. It's a sickness, not a crime. Your urge to take those things was not prompted by a desire to steal. Sheila, the cure isn't going to be easy, but we can make it. We do have a definite plan to suggest.
Guess I should be very happy. I have two such wonderful friends. I'll try not to disappoint you.
One diamond necklace with 5 large baguette stones.
That does it. Every item accounted for.
You'll notice that not a price tag has been removed. That should work in her favor, shouldn't it?
It's a good indication. That and her voluntary return to the merchandise.
We'll do everything we can, Mr. Rogers. We're inclined to be sympathetic with cases of this nature and are willing to cooperate in every possible way, as long as we know that the accused is doing her part.
I can give you my word on that, Sergeant.
Now, we'll have to report the return of this merchandise to the various stores. We can't make recommendations. When the owner hears of the circumstances involved, he may be willing to let the whole matter drop.
I understand.
We'll let you know.
In the meantime, she's in your care.
Thank you. I'm very grateful.
Mr. Rogers, one slip, and we'll have to pick her up.
I'm not worried. Sheila will never break a promise to me.
Did you see the sheriff?
There's nothing to worry about. You're in my care.
Oh, I'm so relieved. I haven't slept a wink. That awful images of going to prison. I couldn't live through that.
We have a date, you and I.
What kind of a date?
Surprise. Come on.
Ed, this place? Must we?
Of course, honey. When you're thrown, you've got to climb back on the same horse.
Yes.
Hello. This is my fiancée.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is the group you looked at the other day.
Nothing like being an optimist. Take anyone you like, darling.
And what a wonderful surprise. They're all so beautiful. But I don't have to have an engagement ring. It's extravagant. I'd be very happy with just a wedding band.
Here's my favorite.
That's the one.
It is lovely, isn't it?
It's beautiful. Are you sure it's not too expensive?
Of course not. I'll write you a check.
The desk is over here. Come with me.
Excuse me, dear.
I believe that covers everything, Miss Clary. Mr. Rogers, we've had to pick up Sheila Borton.
But you told me everything was all right.
Well, it was until this morning.
I don't understand, Sergeant. Has someone decided to press charges?
Yes. An emerald ring was taken from the jewelry counter at the very moment you were paying for the one you gave her. $1,000 worth of jewelry.
Sheila, what happened?
I don't know, Ed. I didn't steal a ring or anything else. You've got to believe that. There's been a terrible mistake. I didn't steal anything. I didn't. Oh, please don't take me away. I didn't do anything wrong. I couldn't. I gave my word. Oh.
She didn't do it. She didn't do it, Sergeant.
It's too bad. But I suppose every criminal sooner or later reaches the point of no return.
I suppose so. Oh, Miss Clary, I'm sorry it was necessary to bother you again.
No bother at all, Sergeant. I was only too happy to help.
For the life of me, I can't understand why a girl who's just been given another chance at freedom should want to do such a thing.
I can't imagine. Goodbye, Sergeant.
Miss Clary, wasn't it dangerous to display all those rings in front of a person suffering from kleptomania?
I had no choice. Besides, her fiancé was right there with her.
I should have known that someone as experienced as yourself wouldn't risk such valuable merchandise a second time.
Some of those rings are worth over $500, weren't they?
They varied from $300 to $700.
Nothing over 700, though.
No. Mr. Rogers had previously said that he didn't want to go any higher than that.
I see.
Miss Clary, doesn't it strike you as odd that Miss Borton should be accused of stealing a ring worth $1,000?
Well, she had access to nothing over $700.
Maybe I showed them some others.
Not according to Mr. Rogers.
Oh, there wasn't a ring in that display worth over $700.
I don't know what you're driving at, Sergeant.
Well, Miss Clary, when I explained to your employer what induced Miss Borton to take the necklace, it naturally became known that she was a kleptomaniac.
And this made it a simple matter for someone else to commit a theft in her presence, knowing that Miss Borton would be accused of the theft. Now, please sit down, Miss Clary.
You took the ring, didn't you?
Dad,
What, Annie?
I was just thinking. Do you realize where I'd be right now if it weren't for you and Ellen?
All we did was believe in you. Sergeant Goodrich figured it out.
Edna Clary is now awaiting trial. Sheila and Ed are happily married. We selected this case to show you how helpful close friends like Ellen and Ed can be, both to the sheriff's office and particularly to someone like Sheila, who is falling deeper and deeper into crime. Now may I present Eugene W. Biscaluse, Sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Friends, the members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department are pleased to cooperate in the production of Code 3 in the interest of crime prevention and rehabilitation. We hope you'll join us again next week for another true case from our files. I thank you very much.